Hello. Hopefully you had a good day yesterday and you were able to work on some factoring review problems. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, and we are going to complete the factoring review problems. And we're going to actually finish the factoring that we now have been working on since about March 5th or 6th. So that was a while ago, and I think it's pretty much time for us to finish this up and take a quiz on it tomorrow. So yesterday I went through number 1 and also number 7 with you. If you didn't get to see those, you can watch yesterday's notes again. Today we're going to continue on this worksheet, and we're going to look at number 11, which is on the back of the worksheet. And then we're going to look at number 16. So the directions for number 11 ask us to solve the equation. Anytime it says to solve the equation, that means we are finding x. So our answer is no longer going to be in parentheses. It says that we're going to set each parentheses equal to 0, and we're going to solve. So we're going to have x equals something, and x equals another number. Now the key is this has to be equal to 0. So if the problem isn't equal to 0, we need to make it equal to 0. In number 11, this one is equal to 0, so we don't have to worry about that part there. So we can start multiplying a times c. That gives us a 6. Our two numbers, factors 1 and 6, 2 and 3. We are trying to make a negative 7, so if we use a negative 1 and a negative 6, that makes negative 7, but still multiplies to be a 6. So taking those two factors and writing them, 2x squared minus 1x, a minus 6x, and a plus 3. Putting a little line down the middle, taking out what they have in common, we have an x that the first pair have in common. If I take out an x, I end up with 2x minus 1. The second pair, both divisible by 3. This is a negative 3 because there's a negative with the 6. So whatever's with that number, we have to make sure we're pulling out. And that's 2x minus 1. So if I was just factoring it, I'd say x minus 3 and 2x minus 1. But it's equal to 0, and the question says to solve. So when we solve, we take each of these parentheses and individually set them equal to 0. Because now we're solving for x, which means we're finding the answer for these two little parts of the problem. So to find x, I would add 3, because our goal is to cancel that x out. So we get x equals 3. On the next one, we would add 1. Our goal is to get x by itself. And then I still need to get x by itself, so in this case, we have to divide by 2. So we have x equals 1 divided by 2. Keep those answers as fractions. Now we got 2 of them. So we solved. Solving means finds an answer for x. So the second type of problem that we're going to look at is at the bottom of the page. And at the bottom of the page, there are 2 old problems that we did way back when we started Chapter 5. And those 2 problems ask us to FOIL. FOIL is the opposite of factoring. They're called inverses. So when you have opposites in math are also known as inverses. So the opposite of factoring is foiling. The opposite of foiling is factoring. Pretty much, one form can change to the other. So if you look at number 16, this looks like a problem that's already factored. Our goal is to go back to the original problem. What would have it looked like to start with? So we're going to use FOIL, which we said was first, outer, inner, last. FOIL is a way for us to multiply. Before we use FOIL, though, there's a little 3 in front. And that 3 means we need to distribute it to that first set of parentheses. It only goes to the first set because it's only attached to the first set. So we're going to take 2 times 3, or 2x times 3, so that gives us 6x. And then we're going to attach the 3 and the 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Now we didn't do FOIL yet, so we have to put our parentheses back around the problem. We didn't do anything with x minus 1, because nothing's attached to x minus 1. So now we're going to use this FOILing process. FOILing means multiply the first terms together. Well, 6x times x is 6x squared. The O is the outer terms, so we're going to multiply those together, 6x and negative 1. I are the inner terms. Well, those inner terms are 15 times x. And then L stands for the last terms, and those last terms, 15 times negative 1, is negative 15. So that's the FOILing part. Now we just need to combine any numbers that are the same, or any terms that are the same, and that's this middle pair. So we still have 6x squared. There is a negative 6x plus 15 that we can add together, and if we do that, you get a 9x, and then we have negative 15. So now if I look at this FOILed answer, it looks exactly like all of the other problems on this page that we were asked to factor. So again, FOILing is the opposite of factoring. Factoring means to break a problem down, like number 11. However, in number 11, because it was equal to 0, we solved. Just a little reminder about solving, it's supposed to equal 0. So 13 doesn't equal 0. To make it equal 0, we have to take that 2 to the other side. Make sure you're taking the 2 to the other side and combining it with its matching piece. Same thing for number 14, that 10x needs to be taken to the other side. So this is due tomorrow, all of it, numbers 1 through 16. You can attach this whenever you're finished to the post for Thursday, April 2nd. So there's a spot for you to attach it, or a link for you to attach this. And tomorrow you will have a quiz. The quiz will look very similar to this. I believe it's a 36-point quiz. Have a good day. If you have questions, feel free to email me. And the Zoom session tomorrow, you can participate in the Zoom session if you have any questions as well.